Hello everyone, my name is Fakhruddin Khambati and welcome to the 8th video in the SSIS training series. In the past videos, we learned how to convert data from a CSV file into Microsoft SQL database. We also learned how to convert or transform the lowercase characters into uppercase. We also checked how to handle errors and we also learned how to convert the data. In this video, we are going to use the same CSV source file, which has first, last, email, date of birth, amount, city, and state. And here, this time, I'm going to keep incorrect data in my source, which means that the data would be acceptable by my Microsoft SQL, but logically, the data would be incorrect. For example, if I put negative value in my amount, like -50, or if I put zeros in my amount, one more negative value. So there are three incorrect values that I have entered in my CSV source file, and I'm going to save it. Now my purpose is to pull this data from my CSV source file, which has corrupt data or logically incorrect data, and I have to insert the correct rows in my Microsoft SQL database. What will I do of the incorrect rows? That too we'll check in this particular demo. Well, the topic is conditional split, and here is the requirement. It's the same thing that I have just showed you practically. Let's switch to Microsoft SQL Server Data Tools. I will click on File, New, Project, and I will say Integration Services Project, and Conditional Split Demo, and create directory for the solution. Here we go. I will drag and drop data flow task. Let's just rename it dft_data, and I will quickly find my source, which is a flat file source. We have done all this quite a few times, so I believe you are aware about the actions that are happening on the screen right now. And these components, as usual, they are really unaware of what to do, so we will teach them by right clicking and selecting edit, and I'll say new, browse. I just have to show the path where my file is stored, and that's it. There's nothing more that I have to do in the flat file connection manager, and I'll say okay. The same thing I will show to my OLEDB data connection manager. New, select the database, select the table where I have to save this data. Mapping, everything is mapped properly because the column names are exactly the same in source and destination. And remember this error we got in the last video, wherein the first cannot convert between Unicode and non-Unicode. We'll just right click on flat file source, show advanced editor. We'll go over here, output columns first, and instead of string we will say Unicode string, and same thing we'll do for last. In case you are confused about what I'm doing over here, the previous video, the video number 7, has a detailed demonstration of this particular error. You see the error is gone. Let's run the data just like that. I don't want to give it a conditional split as of now, so I'll click on start, or I'll just hit F5. 1000 rows gone. I'll come over here, I'll select star from customers, and look at this data, -50, 0, -356. This incorrect data has come over here, and I don't want that to enter into my database, and that is why I need to use something called as conditional split. But before we switch to SQL Server Data Tools, I will truncate this table, and let's confirm there's nothing left in this table anymore. Switch to SQL Server Data Tools. I will stop it, and I will disconnect this arrow. Let's look for conditional split. Here it is. So all the data from my flat file source will come into conditional split, and everything from conditional split will go to my database. Over here in conditional split, I have to logically refine my data. Let's see how it is done. Before we proceed from this, we have to go to flat file source and show advanced editor again. We need to make sure that the amount column over here, it has a correct data type, because on string it cannot really refine my data which is based on less than or equal to 0. So I will just change it to money or currency, and I'll say okay. And now I'll go to conditional split and I will go to columns. I will drag and drop amount. I'll go to operators and I'll say it should not be less than 0. That's it. The way it turns the color of the condition from red to black, it means it's the correct data. So we will give an output name over here. We'll say incorrect output, because if the amount is less than or equal to 0, it's going to be incorrect output, right? So I'll say okay. Now you see there are two arrows that come up when we configure conditional split. Let's see what happens when we drag and drop the blue arrow. So it gives us an option that which output you want to go in this particular OLEDB destination, and the options are the default output or the incorrect output. We know the incorrect output is if the value of amount is less than or equal to 0. So obviously we will select default output. That's it. Now where will the incorrect output go? For that we can have a flat file destination. We can say this, and by default you see there were only two options. So when we have set up conditional split default output to OLEDB destination, it by default gave incorrect output to flat file destination. I'll right click and edit, and I need to show this, where you need to enter your data, the incorrect rows, and I will just show it the path, and I will just create a new file saying incorrect data, and I'll say open. That's it. It's blank obviously because I have created it just now. Mappings will be automatically done, and I'll say okay. Now let's try to run this particular project. Hit F5 on your keyboard or just click on start. Very interesting. 1000 rows came from flat file source into conditional split. From conditional split it found that there are 3 rows which have incorrect data in amount, and it diverted those incorrect data into a flat file destination, and the correct data, the 997 records, came into OLEDB destination. Let's see. I'll select star from customers. You see 997 rows out here, so it has only pulled 997 rows. Let me check the error file as well. So here is the file incorrect data, and let's see what data it has pulled up over here. And it pulled up the -50, 0 and -356. That's great. So congratulations people. Today you learned yet another topic in the SSIS training series, conditional split. Now you know how to filter data based on defined conditions. You also know how to identify possible corrupt rows. But wait, are we always going to extract data from one single file source? Is it a very practical example of a real life scenario? No. There will be hundreds of records that you will have to pull from your source folder into your destination. So how will we do that? We will do that using something called as a for loop. We are going to create a loop in which we will keep on sending a particular format file from the source folder into destination. Let it be just one file, 5 files, 10, 100, 1000 or 1,000,000 files as well. So please practice whatever we have learned so far and be ready for the next video that is coming very soon. Until then, this is Fakhruddin Khambati saying goodbye and take care.